ready. I'd like to call the Jobs and Economic Development Committee meeting together in order at 6:30 p.m. on August 4th. Clerk, would you take roll, please?
Mr. Harsmith?
Here.
Mr. Prater?
Here.
Mr. Ratliff?
We have a summary of proceedings for the meeting we had on June the 2nd. Have you had an opportunity to look those over?
Yes, and I approve of them.
Okay, I second. Take roll, please.
Mr. Harsmith?
Yes.
Mr. Prater?
Yes.
Okay, the first item on our agenda under new business is jobs and tax abatement for CRA. Clerk, would you read, please?
Resolution in the matter of entertaining into a community reinvestment area agreement with Fastenal CO and Leonard J. Klaus for development of property at 583 West Fairground Street, Marion, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. I have a couple of questions before we start the debate on this. I noticed there's an emergency clause on here, and I was wondering why we declared an emergency on it. Yes, Mr. Lingaze.
Okay. Ken Lingaza, part-time with Regional Planning Commission. I still do this stuff. The reason for that is usually in council people that had been here for many years, we would go under the enterprise zone. But in this, we're using the community reinvestment area because there's a relocation involved. They have a short-term lease on Marion Bucyrus Road, a smaller building, and they'd be building a bit larger building and moving people, plus transferring potentially 2 employees from Upper Sandusky. So because of that, the Marion Township and the mayor of Upper Sandusky have to be given 30 days notice of a meeting at which you will pass this. So that means, so that this project can proceed, we can't ask to suspend the rules because you're going to, based on your schedule, if this moves forward, this third reading would be September 8th, which is, like the notice was sent out Friday, which is then the 30 days. So at that time, though, we want to be able, after 3 full readings, want to be able to have the emergency clause so it goes into effect right as soon as you pass it and the mayor signs it instead of waiting 30 days after it passes.
Okay, so you're looking to try to get this through within 30 days? Is that,
Well,
through us?
3 readings, but then effective immediately.
Okay.
Mr. Russell,
That's right.
explain that right? Yeah.
Okay, but we're looking...
So we're not asking to suspend the rules. We're asking for it be 3 full readings, but then after it passes, it goes into law immediately, not another 30 days.
Okay, but we're looking at 3 readings in committee, and then you're looking at 3 more readings.
No, 3
in
readings
council.
at council.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
I was hoping that
you want us
assumes,
to...
that assumes if you pass it tonight. If you don't, it
Okay.
will be
That
the
answers.
earliest, in other words, the earliest, whether it's 2 readings or 3 readings, that it can pass and without violating that notice is September 8th.
So after the advance notice of the month, which would be like 30 days from now, after that, we just want to get it moving as quick as possible because we got to have the 3 readings and plus the forewarning and the acknowledgement of Upper Sandusky and all of that. So that's the reason for it, the emergency clause, and it makes it very clear.
Okay, so basically, we need to get this through here to council so that they can have their 3 readings by the end. Okay. Okay. The next questions I have, looking at the first or the second whereas in here, it says that Fastenal Company desires to relocate from a rented building at 1701 Marion Bucyrus Road in Marion Township and possibly move 2 positions from Upper Sandusky to their new building. I'm not a real fan of the words possibly and might and maybe, because that gives an out. They say, well, we only said possibly.
Well, they're gonna have 10 people working here within 3 years. That's what they've agreed to, whether they don't move some of those people, or they're gonna sign that within 3 years they'll have 10 people.
Okay.
That's where, whether they move one person from Upper Sandusky and hire an extra person here, that's what the bottom line is.
Okay, because
Can I add that part of the reason, Evelyn, we're on this, part of the reason it's stated in the resolution is because in the event that they move a person, it triggers different parts of the laws. So that's why we're stating that, because therefore, if they move someone, now you have to have the advance notification. It triggers a variety of other things, and since we're presuming that to be the case, we're stating it in the resolution and then following that protocol as if they,
Okay.
had they not transferred a person, your resolution and our protocols would have been slightly different. So it's kind of a technicality, but to follow that. Does that make sense?
Oh, you were doing it the worst case scenario. I mean, yeah, if they weren't doing it, I mean, you could suspend the rules in a week or two. I mean,
Okay,
so,
yeah.
yeah.
That answers then my next question, which was the fourth whereas, where it says they might relocate, so it's the same thing. Now, my last question is, I see on it says, be it resolved by the council of the city of Marion, Ohio, the mayor is authorized to enter a community reinvestment agreement with both Fastenal and Leonard J. Klaus as parties for a 75% abatement for 10 years. I was looking at the application, and the application says 60%. So I'm wondering, why are we going higher than what they applied for?
Well, they filled out the application early, and then we've had conversations back and forth, and they're gonna have some costs involved with putting, moving this, constructing a sewer from across the street. They thought we could possibly, council could possibly use some tax increment financing. And I don't think that's a good idea, because to do that, it has to benefit the industrial park. And I don't see any way to spend it. It's across the street from the industrial park, but it doesn't really benefit. So that's why they originally asked for lower, because they were hoping for some tax increment financing money, which you have the money in there, it's just you have to use it for something that's allowed.
Okay, so they're actually asking then for 75%?
Yeah.
Give a question.
So usually, like when you give a tax abatement, it's to bring incentive, to bring jobs into a community, and then that gets paid by having people working and paying taxes, that kind of like,
Right.
so the goal is to eventually hire 10 more people over the
I'll
next,
have 10 people there and then expand in the future.
And
They
it's-
have room for expansion, and they would hopefully add more add to the building, and then bring in more employees. So it's a new building too. You're getting a new building,
Yeah.
and that building's gonna be there. And the one they're moving out of in Marion Township, that's gonna still be there too, that can be used.
okay.
So this is not a big project. Nobody's saying this is a big project.
Do you know, Mr. Lingeza, if they have already contacted a company to build the building?
Yes, I do.
Is it local?
Right here.
Now he runs away in.
It's why it's a three-party agreement.
Okay.
He's gonna build it and own it, and they're gonna lease it from him. So you
Oh,
wanna
okay.
try to answer?
Yeah, I'll do my best here. Glenn Klaus for the record, President Klaus Construction.
Right. Now, I guess my main concern is, are you a local company? I'm not familiar
New
with.
Regal, Ohio,
New Regal?
yeah.
Okay, so you're local in the area,
Yeah.
right? I was kind of hoping for something in Marion or
Yeah.
Marion County.
Well, we don't do, we do some site work, concrete, steel erection, we have some carpenters, but we sub out all electric, plumbing, heating, all those trades that we drywallers, painters, flooring guys, locally.
Okay.
If they got trouble, I want them to call them, I don't want them to call me.
You don't anticipate any problems constructing there at that location or anything?
Not really, unless the neighborhood to the south there don't look the best. Other than that, I don't have any concerns, so.
They're good people over there. I've been there several times.
Yes, I
Good
too.
people.
That's good to know.
Awesome. Well, thank
Yeah.
you very much.
Yeah, just to, I own 4 other projects like this that we did, and kind of built a new Fastenal in Finland, probably 15 years ago now. And then we added on to probably 6, 8 years ago. And it went from 6,000 square foot to 9,000 square foot. Now we're at another 5,000 square foot. And what they really need now are handling bigger products and heavier products than they used to. They want a truck dock with a dock leveler and all that. And this is set up, we've got preliminary set up at 6,500 square foot to start with the low dock, and that's a 2.7 acre lot. It's plenty big enough to get trucks to turn around, and the trucks will be in the back of the building. And I'm actually building like, I call it a quarter of a building. It's just gonna be a single slope building. And it's all set up, if they want to add on, and they can double the size of it and go back, and then they can go back to the south more. They could actually quadruple the size of the building. I mean, that's what they're looking for, so.
Awesome.
Like what we're doing in Hancock County. So it appears like today, you know, they're not gonna be adding a whole bunch of people, but they're in a growth mode. They're real fast on coming. They're hooked up with Amazon and other stuff. You order from Amazon, they're delivered locally from their store, and that's why they're seeing growth, and that's why they're getting bigger stuff and heavier stuff, and they need the low dock. And the place they're in now doesn't, it's got ceilings about this high. I don't think it's that high. That's and this is gonna have a 22-foot high ceiling, I believe. Offices, it's gonna be a nice setup. They're signing long-term.
So they'll be able to grow from there, and hopefully we can see
They'll be
them
able to quadruple.
double or
If they're
triple.
not doubled here within 10 years, I would really be surprised.
Good.
But I don't have a crystal ball, I can't tell you that for sure.
All right.
And that's why the ifs and maybes in some of this stuff, we don't know.
Okay, thank you, appreciate your input. Do you have anything, Ron? Anybody from the audience have any comments or questions on this matter? Yes, Mr. Shaw.
Lisa Sharp, Third Ward City Council, and maybe it was said and I just missed it, but what is the reasoning for notifying Marion Township and Upper Sandusky of possible, of those 2 locations losing potential facilities?
Mr. Langeza?
Are they,
It's
is
a state,
Fastenal part
it's a
of
state
it?
law. It's basically, you have to do it. If you, within Ohio, if a community is going to give tax abatement, and there's a community reinvestment area, if the jobs are moving in Ohio, they have to notify the community they're going. Period. They can't hold it up or anything, but they got to be notified.
Okay, I was thinking, well, maybe they have some kind of a community reinvestment agreement in Upper or in Marion Township, and that's why we're notifying, but it's just, if there's any movement of jobs anywhere, and there's a tax abatement, those communities need to be.
We had to do the same thing for Ogden County, well, that was the city airport industrial park for Reconserve. That's the food recycling plant on Innovation Drive. Had to do the same thing.
Okay. And this is a completely new building?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And the builder, you will retain sole ownership, and you're just renting it to Fastenal?
That's right.
So Fastenal will not be the beneficiary of this?
It's a 3-way agreement. We're going to have a 3-way agreement because Fastenal has to create the jobs. And he's a property owner, so we've done this before.
So, not to speak ill of Fastenal, but Fastenal's been in this community for a while, and probably as many years as they've been here, they've been in as many locations. Will that affect this agreement? If they decide they move a different
Yeah, if they're
location?
going to move out and they have this agreement, it would affect their ability to move. Can't say they can't do it, but they have to have met the terms of this agreement first.
Okay.
But this also is going to have a clawback thing. If they voluntarily move out, they have to pay back the 5 previous years of taxes.
This what was abated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would keep them in that spot for sure. Or
Yeah.
someone would have to pay that, would be Fastenal, or all
Right.
3 parties in this agreement.
Well, no, I mean, what if they have pay that back taxes, you have to move out. during the voluntarily.
Yeah, if I could add here, they did sign, they're willing to sign, if we get this put together here, a 15-year agreement. So it'll be there for 15 years, period. So it's not like it's gonna be applied by 900, it's gonna be somebody else in there.
Thank you.
If I could add too, the other Fastenal projects kind of did the same thing. Actually, all the other ones are 100% abatement and for 10 years. Some of the ones I built are 20 years old now, so it's way raining out and then continues to grow. This is going to be a very nice looking, very nice place. You can look on our website, Cloud Construction, see the kind of stuff we do. I've done a lot of work in Marion.
Okay. And from what I understand, they're going to have, new construction is going to cost about $800,000. Furniture and fixtures would be about $100,000, and their inventory would be around $1 million. And then they're going to add, I think, $60,000 a year as payroll with the 2 employees.
Yeah, that's what they want that part of the application.
Okay. Any other comments from the audience? Wishes of the council?
I vote to approve and move this on to city council to approve of it.
Okay, I second. Clerk, would you take roll, please?
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Prater?
Yes.
Okay, that's about all we have. Matters not on the agenda. Anybody have anything pertaining to jobs and economic development that they would like to bring up? If not, we're adjourned. 6:47.
Very good.
Hey, we did it.
Till 12, they set the standard, so 2 minutes.
Is this somebody's keys?
Ron's.
Ron?
Your keys?
Oh, yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Yep.
7 minutes, huh?
Thank you so much.
I was told I only have 7 minutes.
Get her done. Wow, what's going on?
6:47, we'll call finance to order. Clerk, if you'll take roll, please.
Ms. Lang?
Here.
Mr. Rollins?
Present.
Mr. Ratliff?
And we have no proceedings of summary of proceedings to approve. Moving on to old business. Item number 1, audits for 20, 21, 22, and 23. Auditor McGinnis, what is the status for the 2021 audit?
2021 audit is still with the state. I have not heard anything as of now. I'm going to email them tomorrow to see where they're at process-wise and if they need anything from us.
Can I answer that?
Sure, thank you.
I just talked to I sent an email this morning, trying to get an update, and heard back from Justin. He said it's going to be at least the middle to late August now. He said they had requested some stuff back on July 10th that they haven't gotten yet from our office. So that's where we're at. That was the update I got today. I'd sent you guys an email that I requested.
Right.
And I just heard back today. Judy's on vacation like all week, so Bob Hinkle had Justin call me back today with that update.
Do you know what information?
I do not.
Do you know what information they're waiting on?
Not off the top of my head.
So it looks like it's going to be at least middle to late August before they're done with 21.
So 2022 is scheduled for September 30th, 2025, so that's going to
I asked
affect
him if
that?
that would back up the dates on everything else, and he said it would.
Can you find out, Ms. McGinnis, what it is they're looking for and email me,
I
please?
just pulled it up. He said any report that Veritas would have sent you along with the detailed list of entries that they asked the city to post related to 2020. So I will take care of that tomorrow and get that sent out.
Jason Shaw, Third Ward City Council, about when we see that audit will be completed mid-August or hopefully whenever, is that just the financial audit or the entire audit that the state usually does? That audits every procedure and practice that we do, or whichever ones they pick out. I shouldn't say every procedure.
That's the full audit, because the financial compilation was done by Charles Harrison Associates. That feeds into the full audit that the state does. So the state has all that documentation, now they're working on the full audit.
Okay, so usually, maybe I missed it, I'll give that pass. When was our pre-audit meeting? We usually have those that are discussed with the auditors.
If I may, so once the state auditor has completed the full audit, then they, under the statute, notify councilpersons, administrators, and we have a pre-audit, but it's only after they've completed the work on the full audit. So they got to complete their work on the full audit, and we're talking about 2021. Once they do, then they will provide the council people and the administrators the notification of the pre-release audit meeting. So it's a
Okay,
pre.
yeah, that's a pre-release.
Yeah.
But we usually have a meeting where they ask us questions about what they should look at or
No.
look forward.
I mean, I've seen that happen, but that's not the same meeting that I thought you were talking
No,
about.
I know afterwards,
Yeah.
after the audit's complete, we have that pre-release, and
Yeah.
they go over their management notes and all that. But typically, before we start an audit, we always have that, and it's usually, should have been done by now, but.
I don't think there's anything typical about our situation.
I agree with you there, so, okay.
I never received a request for a pre-audit meeting. I would have remembered that, but I can email and find out if it was something we were supposed to do or if we're just looking for the exit meeting.
I'll dig through my old emails because I don't delete anything, and I'll see. I'll go back some years to find out when we had a typical audit and see who sent out those invitations. I want to say it was the auditors, the team that came in. But
Mr. Sherwood, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Since you know, so it was a that they hold with council?
yeah,
to-
it wasn't all of council. It was the auditors. The team that comes in would get a group of us together, and the state auditors can do that because of the sunshine laws and stuff, and ask us which direction they should look at in different capacities of the city, and we've always done that.
And that was done previous to the team coming in?
Yeah, the team was asking us what they should be looking at, because otherwise they just they'll grab whatever ordinance in 2021 and verify that it's acted out or whatever. But if they don't have a direction to go, they're just picking stuff. And I think the most recent one, well, the one that obviously stands out was 2020 when we had all that mess with Mr. Landon.
Okay, thank you. Do you have any questions? Can you send me an email tomorrow and let me know what you find out
About the pre-audit meeting?
about the report that they're needing to go
Oh,
forward?
yeah, as soon as I get the information compiled, I'll make sure I respond to Jess and I can copy you on the
Or just
response.
CC me on?
Just, yeah, how long do you think it'll take to compile all that?
I mean, it shouldn't take very long.
It's obviously taken since July, sometime in mid-July.
I'd honestly say probably a couple hours just to make sure I have everything they need, but it shouldn't take very long.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions from the audience? Not, move on to item number 2, penalties and appeals. Any updates or additional information on any of that?
I have not received any additional information on the current appeals that we have out. I did receive correspondence on Friday for the December 22 941s. They sent that to a separate office. It's in Ogden, Utah. It's IRS and then another acronym like AARS or something like that. I will update the spreadsheet and send that out.
Do you have any questions? Any questions?
Make it quick. Just an example. So like whenever we get audited for year 2024, we can direct the auditors to check ordinance 2024-088.
2024, and what is that ordinance? Just,
That's the one we did about the bond.
okay.
And as far as I know right now, we're in 2025 and it's not been enforced.
I'm just wondering if, because we are doing this through the AG and we're on a fast track, if that might all be bypassed, because they're fast tracking everything to get it completed by 2026. So that might be something that they're maybe not going to do until they get to the end. I don't know. Moving on to new business, item number 3, Finance 42. Clerk, if you'll go ahead and read, please.
An emergency resolution to accept the material terms of the new national opioid settlement consistent with the One Ohio Memorandum of Understanding.
Mr. Russell.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. So item 3 and 4 are very similar, and council has acted in a similar fashion 3, if not 4 times before. This is related to the opioid epidemic, and the plaintiffs have negotiated settlements with both item 3 and item 4. Item 4 is Purdue, and item 3, I don't remember, but I guess I could look, it's in the caption.
Alvogen.
So we need to pass these so that we can communicate with One Ohio and tell them that we are participating in the settlement, as we've done on the last 3 to 4 occasions. And then the Clerk Pollock, has helped and simply helped confirm that One Ohio isn't functioning as it envisioned to function at the very beginning, because One Ohio plan of action was all those municipalities that passed the One Ohio ordinance approximately 5 or 6 years ago would never have to pass another ordinance to enter into these settlement agreements, because that one would cover us for all the future settlements, like item 3 and 4. But it's not functioning as it intended, so we are obligated to pass one in each settlement, whether it's Purdue or Alcogen or Alvogen. So
Give up the money.
Any questions or comments? Committee?
Motion to send to council with a recommendation to approve.
You'll second that?
Ms. Lang?
Yes.
Mr. Rollins?
Yes.
Moving on then to, we got to take the vote on 43 too, right?
Yes.
So go ahead and, I'll make a motion to approve. Oh,
You want
you
me
have to read it. Yes, please, thank you.
Item number 4, an emergency resolution to accept the material terms of the new national opioid settlement consistent with the One Ohio Memorandum of Understanding.
So as it was explained by Mr. Russell when he was doing item number 3, is there any additional comment on that?
nothing additional.
I make a motion to send on to council with approval.
Second.
Clerk, take roll.
Ms. Lang?
Yes.
Mr. Rollins?
Yes.
Moving on to item number 5, ordinance, Finance 44 ordinance, if you'll read, please.
Ordinance making an appropriation in the below listed line items for the senior center to purchase vehicles from the Ohio Department of Transportation through the U.S. ODOT Federal Transit Administration and declaring an emergency.
Okay, this is coming from Mr. Toronto, and I believe Steve is here also. Go ahead,
So
please.
this is just asking for appropriations for the 5310 grant for the local share portion, which is the 33357. And then if you wanted to explain more. or-
This also was passed, the resolution to purchase these vehicles
Yes,
was
in
passed
December
in
of 24. Yep.
ordinance, or resolution 2024-32 dated December 9th of 2024.
Do you have anything to add, sir?
No, unless you have questions. I guess I could add. Steve Bodicher, Director of the Senior Center. We were very pleased to get this award this year, considering some of the cuts that have been made out there. And when the first 2 times we applied, we were successful with receiving this grant. There were 3 pages of awards to all the organizations that received them. This year there was 1 page, but we're happy to see that we got both vehicles that we put in for. The government will pay 80% of the cost of these, which in this case is roughly $128,000. We'll be responsible for the $32,000. And the other thing that this is going to allow us to do, because we've significantly keep increasing our services, is going to allow us for the whole fleet to last a few more years as we have more vehicles to add into it.
And these are vehicles that will transport to like Cleveland and Columbus and stuff
Well,
like
they
that?
could
or
be
is it
used for
local?
that, but the critical thing are these are handicap accessible vehicles with
That was my
1,000-pound
next
lifts in
question.
them. And you can take 2 wheelchair clients at a time, or you can take 7 ambulatory clients, depending on what we need. But the nice thing with the fleet as we have it now is wherever any vehicle is on the road, they all have the ability to transport somebody with handicap accessibility.
Great.
Thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions or comments? Recommendation of...
Yeah, I'll make a motion to send this on to council with a recommendation to approve.
Second?
Ms. Lang?
Yes?
Mr. Rollins?
Yes.
Moving on to item number 6, Finance 45. If you'll read, please, clerk.
Ordinance making adjustments to appropriations for the Capital Improvement Fund year ending December 31st, 2025.
Okay, this is also being brought by Ms. Triano. Is that right? Triano. Okay. Sorry.
So this is appropriations. The senior center needs to replace 2 AC units in their building. They've been without AC for a month now, maybe. So this is just allowing them to go ahead and get those replaced. They did set aside money for this earlier in the year, so we're just asking for money for that to be spent.
To appropriate. it
To
then.
appropriate.
Any additional comments, questions?
Steve Bodicher, Director of the Senior Center.
I assume you've had the work quoted already. Who's going to be doing the work?
We did have a quote. We put it out to 4 different groups for estimates. One responded right away. It was B&B Mechanical, who's been doing a lot of the
Yep.
facilities here, and they also work on other things at our facility.
Okay.
But the thing I liked about it is the fact that those units, when he inspected them, he said, what best we could tell, these are 1983 units. I said, yeah, that would track, because that's when they took the building over as a city. He said, well, I don't think we'll be getting that many years out of this next, but he said, we'll try to do the best we can to not have anything change as far as how it's added into the vent work, and with the roofing, they're looking at some cost-effective ways to treat that, so.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. Wishes of committee?
Motion to send on to council with a recommendation to approve.
Need a second?
Ms. Lang?
Yes.
Mr. Rollins?
Yes.
Moving on to item number 7, Finance 46. Clerk, if you'll read, please.
Ordinance making additional appropriations to service contracts in the general fund for the year ending December 31st, 2025.
This also is being brought by Ms. Torino.
This was for a contract that was ended early. Our elevator contract, we had paid ahead for the full year. This is a reimbursement from that. So we're just asking for the money to be put back in the service contracts and be appropriated.
Any additional questions?
Motion to send on to council with a recommendation to approve.
Second. Clerk, if you take roll.
Ms. Lang?
Yes.
Mr. Rollins?
Yes.
Moving on to item number 8, Finance 47.
Ordinance making additional appropriations for insurance proceeds fund for the year ending December 31st, 2025.
Okay, Ms. Torino?
So this is money that we receive from insurance companies that the city holds once a property has fire damage. So we hold that to make sure that everything is inspected and comes back good to go. So we're just asking for the appropriations so we can get those back to people in a timely manner instead of holding on to them.
Motion to send on to council with a recommendation to approve.
I'll second that.
Ms. Lang?
Yes.
Mr. Rollins?
Yes.
Moving on to matters not on the agenda, I have a couple of things that I'd like to address. Number one, Ms. McGinnis, where are we at with payroll, ADP? What's the status, and have we gone live yet on that?
ADP is still in the process. There are a couple things that we need to get set up in the system in order for it to work properly. The biggest thing is that our EMTs and our CDL drivers have a rate that they get paid per hour on top of their standard rate given those certifications.
So that was an issue at last committee. Have we made any progress? Have we have any communication progress, or how are we moving forward on that?
So the last meeting that we had discovered that there is a potential way to add that in there using a wage rate program. What I have to do is I have to go in and I have to individually add the wage rate program to each of the individual employees. That is my goal, to get that done tomorrow. And then we have to get additional information to them as far as like year-end or not year-end balances, but year-to-date balances for pools, and then updated information for most recent payrolls.
So, what was the date of the meeting?
They're every Tuesday.
Pardon?
They're every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday, so just last Tuesday then?
Yes.
Just refresh me, what was the original go live date?
July 3rd.
So how are city employees clocking in and clocking out today?
So they're actually doing both manual processes.
We're
as
still
well as
doing
clocking
both?
in- Yes. So they're clocking in with ADP as well as using paper time cards right now for two reasons. One, ADP is allowing us to actually keep track of them, which is great. And it's a lot of the times what ends up happening is some departments will pull that report and submit them as their time cards. So they are using the systems. But because we don't have the full system live yet, it's not allowing us to use it to process payroll. So we're logging the hours through ADP. We're actually using it to do some of our testing, which has been extremely helpful. But they are using paper time cards right now as well, so that we can actually process payroll.
Are we paying ADP?
I think we've made one payment to ADP.
Yeah, I mean, I think they think it's good too, but I'm certain we don't think it's great.
Which kind of leads me to my third question. What is this, how is the staffing in your office right now?
I have 3 staff members right now, myself, my deputy auditor, and my AP clerk.
And are either one of them able to help you in this process, or?
Not at the moment, no.
So everything's falling on you to do?
Yes.
The IRS, the audit, the payroll,
Yes.
and we're falling behind. That's the bottom line.
I am one person doing 3 jobs, yes.
Do you have any idea when you'll be hiring more staff?
I have one person already approved for employment. He will start on the 13th. I'm interviewing for the second position now.
Do you have any questions?
No.
Any other questions? The second thing I was going to bring up is Mr. Ratliff isn't here tonight. He is excused. But he had asked a question back in May about the pink sign program and was kind of not in favor of it. And so I've been doing a lot of research on it. And in June, we collected just in sanitation, back sanitation, $40,204.29. And in July, we collected $22,877.73. So for 2 months, we've collected in the utility billing department with the pink sign program, $63,082.22. And those are not necessarily low-income houses. Those are just houses of people that don't want to pay their bill. They have campers, they have boats. I've been doing a lot of research, and if you can have all those toys in your yard, you can pay your bill. And 95% of those collections have gone strictly to sanitation. If we keep up at this pace, we might be able to get some money in our enterprise fund. And I would encourage anybody that has a past due bill to pay the bill so you don't get a pink sign in your yard. Make arrangements for a payment plan or whatever you'd like to do. And if you're low income, I do believe there is a discount program available on the sanitation if you just contact the utility billing department. Are there any other comments or questions from the audience?
I don't know the speed, but, oh, sorry. 1 Annual 608 Decatur Street. My first question is, how far in arrears do you have to be before you end up getting the pink sign?
Technically, it could be 90 days, but I think the ones they're focusing on are people that haven't made a payment in a couple of years.
And how far in arrears is the whole that you collected over 60, almost 67,000 from what it sounded like to me, 63,000, sorry.
That's okay.
How much is the sanitation department or the people of Marion in arrears for?
Well, when I came on to council in January of 2024, it was $5.2 million.
Oh. So
A lot of
besides
money.
the 63,000, have we
The pink signs have been in effect since, I believe, a year now, June of last year. And I was asking for numbers, but nobody was keeping track. And so I got a little more persistent and demanded the numbers because people were saying that the pink sign wasn't working. It was that, or we hire an outside agency to do the collections. The storm and sewer is transferred across the street, but they charge us 5% of whatever they collect. So my goal was to keep more money in the city, you know, us collecting, us doing what we could do so that it doesn't cost any additional.
I gotta tell you, I'm gonna be serious about this. It's like, now, in the section that I live in, there is a large drain that's underneath the alleyway because it runs along my property. And 2013 was a close run thing because we had a lot of rain and it ran, and all that deluge ran off the field in the back behind the apartments, Hollybrook. And without those drains, we would have been inundated. It would have been far worse than what they get over there at Fair Park. And I've actually read it, and it's about storm sewers, the storm sewer. And I'm wrong, I could be wrong, because this is years ago. It was $8 a month
For
to
this,
maintain it. Now, it could have gone up a little bit, but
$8 a month for the city?
the maintenance of the storm sewers, because they run all the way through Marion. We don't have a river
Right.
to dump our extra water into, not like Prospect. So that whoever set these up, I'm assuming it happened in the 60s, that they sat there and shot these through, and it ends up going all the way through town and ends up in one of the ditches, like the Q-Claw ditch and so forth. And it's probably one of the best ideas that somebody ever had, for the city of Marion. I'm serious.
No.
I mean, it would have been, you talk about the flooding that we have over there in
Right.
Fair Park, it would be much worse. We'd be 2 feet deep all the time, every time it happened over there. But instead, you got a 5.5-foot storm drain that just sits and takes it all, and you don't even notice.
So we did solve a problem.
Yeah, it's something I actually wholeheartedly support. Here's my last question. How far, what did we get hit with as far as the IRS? It's the penalties go. Are they hitting us every year? You still seem to be like four years behind.
No, those were for the 941s, 1065s, and we haven't had, Ms. McGinnis, we haven't had any additional.
We haven't had any additional penalties since the end of '23.
Oh,
So we're just trying to abate or,
We're trying to request abatement for all the penalties that we've received between I think the oldest penalty was for 2018 through 2023.
so the audit for 2020 is done.
Yes.
So, okay. That's all I got.
thank you. Any other questions or comments? Mr. Shaw?
Since we're on trash, Jason Shaw, Third Ward City Council, I think that we need to take another look at how we collect trash. And I mean that, what I mean is, so at my house, my $22 a month for trash collection covers a bag and a half, maybe 2 bags a week. Now, I can have some neighbors that's paying $22 a month, and they're setting out 8, 10, or 12. I think if we relook at this and we just do this $22 based on a container, similar to what Rocky or Sam Sanitation has, and people buy the containers, and if you can only fill them up to the maximum, and that's it. And if you need another one, you buy another one for $22. I think that would do wonders for us, because right now, that $22 gives you a lot thrown away at a good deal.
So you're suggesting, because like you, I only have 2 kitchen bags a month that I throw.
These are 13-gallon bags that we
You
set
know,
out.
and my neighbors have 4 trash cans, and they put yeah. So I get what you're saying. So you're saying that everybody purchases a can for $22,
Yep.
and then,
If you need 2 cans,
what's
your
the-
bill will be $44 a month. If you need 3, then it's $66 a month.
Basically, he's saying you get charged for the number of cans you put out.
And then, if these cans are designed, here's more benefit to this, designed to have tippers on the back of the packers, so that saves the backs of all of our employees. So you just blow them up to the back, hit a hydraulic lever, it tips it, flips it back on the ground, and the guys, the only thing they have to do is wheel it back to the curb, or I know they do a lot of seniors that take them back up to their houses.
Okay. I know what you're talking about.
And that's, because right now, I believe on the third ordinance or through code, it's set up for the service director to dictate how that plan all plays out, but
Do you know of any other communities that do this?
of communities that have their own trash collections, I can't name any, but who hire it privately, like Rumpke or Republic, that's how they do it. Or Sam Sanitation, they charge by the container. And I think that the best part, I think, about looking at it this way is getting the tippers on the back of the packer trucks, and that saves our labor and
Workman's comp.
Workman's comp. I know the guys can grab a hold of a trash can thinking it weighs 20 pounds and it's 120, and there goes their back. That's just one way to look at it. And we have to do the collection of the debt plus slimming down what we actually pick up.
In the
To Make
retro.
it fair to everybody.
Oh, I've said that for a long time. And if the trucks could be retrofitted with that tipper,
I think it can. I think it's just a hydraulic test.
any other questions or comments? Questions or comments? Questions or comments? We're adjourned. Seven minutes. We're done.
How's it going? Good to see you. Yep.
I'm not on this one.
You want this pen?
No, I don't know whose it is, not mine.
Yeah. Oh, it's, it was, yeah. They got themselves a nice American flag flying out in front of Woody's. It's beautiful.
See, you're messing me up, because this, on the item, it says Jefferson Street.
That's what I was
The email
trying to do.
says Jefferson Street and the website says Woody's.
So we're talking about Delaware Avenue, 566, right?
Yeah.
And it's a transfer of ownership. You fellas ready?
Yes, sir.
It's 7:23, we're going to call Legislation, Codes, and Regulations Committee to order. Clerk, could you please take roll?
Mr. Neff?
Here.
Mr. T. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Schauber? Here.
We have no summary of proceedings to work on tonight. We move on to item 1 of new business. We have a liquor transfer request. This is for 566 Delaware Avenue. It's a C1, C2 permit, and it's a transfer of ownership. Do we have any input from police or fire on this?
I do not.
No?
Fire department has no reason to oppose.
Okay. Wishes of the committee?
Wow. I was dipping in on your conversation about Jefferson Street.
I think we accidentally got last
I
week's.
got the last one
okay.
double printed in there. That's
You have Delaware Avenues?
No, maybe. Yes, I kind of flipped the page.
It's
Okay.
the Woody's drive-through.
That's
I move we take no action.
Mr. Schauber?
I will second that, but now was our public notice Jefferson?
The one on the Facebook or the webpage? No, it was Woody's drive-through.
Okay, and that's,
I read it today.
okay, all right. Then I'll second it.
So we have a first and a second to take no action. Clerk, can you please take roll?
Mr. Neff?
Yes.
Mr. T. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Schauber?
Yep, yes.
Item number 2, discussion RFQ, City Commercial Building Department. Mr. Bodine, I'll turn this over to you.
Yeah, so, in the past, quite a while now, I've gotten some calls from numerous developers and contractors. We touched on it a little bit last year, but we've really been digging in deep this year. This started back in probably April. We've been looking at a commercial building code because of the lack of turnaround time dealing directly with the state. As far as some of these developers, they'll wait 30, 60, 90 days out, and some of the other complaints are they'll get a certain reviewer, inspector that'll come on site, and because the time frame is so long, by the time if they get comments from that and they fix it and they wait on them to come back, there's another guy from the state there and he doesn't agree with everything that's going on with the first guy, so now that just keeps on setting them back and costing the developer more money. So we started researching what it would take to have a commercial building department. Well, that's not feasible for us right now, but thankfully there are companies out there that you can sub this to that work directly through the state to achieve results in a quicker, more time efficient manner. So we went down that road. We got to the point where we issued an RFQ, and this was back probably 3-4 weeks ago, I would say, is when it was due. We had a listing in the newspaper. We had a 2-week. I had about 5 between emails and phone calls asking me for the RFQ. In the end, we got 2. One is a company I can't recall, but they did not meet all the guidelines, what we were looking for, and the other one did. So we chose them, and I started talking to the clerk about getting this on committee, because once we get to that point where we're trying to work out the fees and such and what that looks like. During this time, I called, evidently this company represents about 16 to 18 communities. At the time when we were dealing with them originally, I think they were in like 12. I was able to get a hold of 7 different entities, municipalities. They all sent back good words that this company was good to work for or work with, so on and so forth. So we moved forward with them. That led me to talking to Mr. Neff over the phone about this situation, and I know he had a few comments regarding that, and that's kind of where we're at. We were going to, as soon as we got the fees and rates, hopefully this comes to the city as a net zero cost, or we make a little money off of it. That's what we're trying to, so we don't cost any more money to have this convenience for our developers to keep progress moving in the city. So that's why it's on the agenda tonight.
So what, Mr. Bodine, what is the time frame that you're looking to implement this change? This is going to be a huge change, so.
It's going to be a huge change. From what this company that we chose is telling me, as soon as I give them some numbers, they claim they can work with us and have basically our fee schedule set up within about a week. And then we would go through the process of committee and council approving it or not approving it and go on from there. And once they come on board, we are supposed to supply them with a desk somewhere in City Hall. So we have that situated based on whatever business has been done with the state as far as new builds, rebuilds, what have you, over the last 2-3 years. They kind of analyze are we going to need to be here 5 days a week? Are we going to need to be here 3 days a week? Are we going to need to be here 1 day a week? So due to whatever that number of revenue is how they base that. And they would be located in here, and they promised a 10-day turnaround for plan reviews, and they promised a 10-day turnaround for inspections.
Sounds like they're promising a lot.
They are, and that's why I did call all the different communities. Rob was even involved in it a little bit. Rob did have kind of a sidebar from somebody in Wyandotte County that had something negative to say, but then when I called, and when I say I communicated with these people, these were all phone calls, multiple phone calls, and when I got to the right person, they had nothing but positive things to say. So that was about the only negative thing we found, because we kind of both hit this together doing this. And then I ended up calling all the other municipalities that returned my calls, and so that led us to here.
Okay, just some comments from me, just a Joe Blow guy here. I have opinions of the state of Ohio and the work that they do, and, you know, I'm not a developer. I've been on the contractor side of it. I haven't been on the contractor side for 10 years, but I don't see what the problem is. I understand the developers might be having losing time in their mind. What really bothers me is the fact that we've only got one RFQ for you to even look at, when I know for a fact that there's probably other companies that could also do this. And if it's not a time crunch, I don't understand why we're set to just move forward and not exhaust all the resources that are out there and look around.
I was following procedure
Okay.
by setting the RFQ out, and like I said, I did hear back from 4 to 5 different entities, but when the 2 weeks was up, we received 2 of them. One did not do everything we needed, and the other did. I had the engineers review all this. This wasn't completely solely my decision, and that's what landed us here.
Okay. Well, there is a website that I kind of wanted to mention anyways, is the Ohio Building Officials Association, and they have job listings in there to where you, as the director, you could have put a post on there, and then every building official in the state of Ohio could have taken a look at your RFQ and gone from there. In all honesty, I don't think I've ever looked at the legal publishings until we talked on the phone the other day, and I did see that. So it just seems to me like there might be an opportunity to look for some other companies to do this if you spent just a little bit more time and put a posting up on that professional website, which covers every single building official looks at that website.
So when you're talking about the RFQs, but you mentioned having your own positive experience with the state, are you for us doing it this way, or are you for?
I personally think you should be very walk very lightly and really consider all your options. And I'm not saying I'm for or against it. I would say I would be for the state to continue to do it. But if there's other options that aren't going to cost the city a ton of money, they should be investigated, yes. The company that you're proposing to contract with, you've gotten a lot of positive reviews. And like I said, I'm not a developer. I don't claim to be a developer. This is my profession. This is what I do. I hear a lot of conflicting stories, not so much about the plan review. I do have confidence in their plan review, but their inspection process I've heard lots of stories, and you know, true or not true, I don't know. But like I said, I'm not on the developer side of it. I think it should be investigated. I would really like for you to at least think about putting out a posting on a BOA. And just looking at that website today, you could go in there tomorrow and you could fill out that posting and maybe get some more people, or maybe come right back to the company you have now.
So is this, we're looking at like essentially what, a building code for commercial buildings, and
We were hoping to save developers time, essentially.
By having
Time
a
is
department?
money, by having someone that was closer and more hands-on, because all of the comments I'm getting back, and this isn't just from one person or two people, it's from multiple people. They claim it's been super difficult, the waiting times. I mean, I can tell you that my buddy here, Rob, has been dealing with the state. We're trying to tear out a wall downstairs in the basement so the ladies can have a larger facility. And have you been waiting 6 months on that? So
Just to clarify with me, I'm sorry, Mr. Bodine, but like 6 months for a state inspector to come in and basically give you permission to be able to do it?
Get a permit.
A permit to do it, okay.
Yeah.
And you're
get
wanting
his
to
plans
have
approved.
somebody placed here in the building that can already do that?
somebody that's kind of a lot more receptive and available.
Okay.
And that's what we were shopping for. I did do a lot of online research. And like I said, I mean, this started in April of '24. We kind of talked about it a little bit then, but we didn't do anything with it, and it's been really hot and heavy towards the beginning, early part of the year, and that led us to where we're here now. We put out the RFQ like we would have anything else that we sent out for request for qualifications. We had 2 weeks to get it back to us. That's what we had.
So would this same department handle like residential permits as well, or just commercial stuff?
This is just commercial.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Just to try and focus it back on track a little bit, commercial buildings within the state of Ohio are required to be built to the Ohio Building Code. The same goes for residential, is required to be built to the residential code. The state of Ohio draws the line at commercial, so if you have a commercial building that you're going to alter or build, it is required to follow the Ohio Building Code. Now, if you do not have a department, which the city of Marion does not have a department, the state comes in and takes that over. So since I don't even know when, the state of Ohio has always enforced the Ohio Building Code in Marion City and Marion County. So it's not that we're changing or adding anything, we're just changing the provider. Or if we're looking to change the provider.
They still have to go through all the same processes.
Yeah.
But they kind of streamline it better than the service we're seeing now, is what we're being promised.
Is there a lot of providers for this service out there?
I think there are, yes, there are. The code doesn't change, it's just the provider that's going to enforce that code. That's going to review the plans.
Just so we're all clear here, these aren't long-term contracts.
Yeah.
From what I know now, like if we try this place, it's a no-go, we can get rid of them, try somebody else. That being said, you know, if it's the wishes of council to, or, you know, to reissue an RFQ or to, I mean, I don't know the legalities of that as far as the fact that we already did that.
You can reject it and redo it.
Okay, so if that's the wishes of this committee, then
I would just like to see if there's some more opportunities or more options for you to be able to decide on. And just going back to Director Powell, what you were saying is it's been a 6 months process for you to get a set of plans reviewed and approved by the state. Okay. So they had to submit plans as far as the alterations in the basement, and it's taken you 6 months to get that
And this was for
approval.
just to cut a door size opening in a non-weight bearing wall.
Okay. Thank you.
Would it help if I fell through the wall?
No, because there's a wire. Don't-
Yeah, there's one outlet we gotta move, so.
Great, now our workers' comp's going up.
I have only one thing to say. I've been involved in building some public
Can I
buildings.
state your name and address, please?
Oh, Dick Arndt, 410 Clover Avenue. I've been involved in building public buildings. It looks kind of bad at times if you don't put some of this out to bid, including your contract director. Too often for a good reason. There's too many friendships when you get into $1 million building. I think you need to put it up both for your representative as well as your bidder. I don't think it's good for the one person in the city or 3 people in the city who are not, in most cases, licensed engineers to be making the decision. You may have some, but I don't think most of them. I think it looks bad when it's too easy for friendships to get contracts.
I can assure you.
I'm not saying that you're going to do it.
I can assure you, this is a completely nationwide company that does this in multiple states. I have 0 connections, and neither does either of our engineers.
I really don't care how many states they're in. I want the best person, and I don't want it to look bad to the guy over here that lives 2 counties away and puts a bid in lower and isn't selected because this guy over here. If this is put out to bid for someone to do this type of work, I think it looks better. It's a cleaner looking process.
That's exactly what happened.
No,
We put it out for an RFQ, that's exactly what happened.
But who makes the decision? Who's your
We make a
expert
decision.
that comes in from outside of the city that takes a look at that? Who doesn't have an interest in this, in anything except best bid, best product?
Okay, could you, I mean, with that logic, you would have a third party investigating
That's-
every single thing that we're doing, like with construction
Who's that
projects?
third party gonna be?
There is no third party. It's people in the city.
People in the city's going to,
That's why we have an engineer's office, an engineer,
I
safety
understand all
director,
that.
service director, that's why we do that.
I also think it looks kind of bad. If we're gonna go out and hire somebody that maybe isn't from the city, maybe isn't from the state or whatever, and you've got 6 people sitting around this area that may be just as good. I
They
think
had,
you need to
they
think
had
of-
every opportunities to apply as well.
Did you send them all information about it?
This goes out publicly.
I think it looks bad if it's done that way.
That's the way it's required by law to do.
Thank you.
No, I-
Thank you.
Thank
It may be required by law, but you don't have to follow the requirements of the law.
Monty Daniel, 608 Decatur Street.
Hi, Lonnie.
Yeah, well, may not be any Lonnie in a minute. I'm kind of disturbed a little bit. You haven't named this company.
The company's called Safe Build, if you want to know.
Where are they out of?
They're nationwide. I don't know exactly where the headquarters is at, off the top of my head.
Another thing that bothered me is that you picked them out of, originally it was like 5, then it became 2, and then of course the other.
Because only 2 submitted.
Only 2 submitted.
I had 5 requests for the RFQ.
Okay.
That emailed me, and they wanted a copy. Me thinking they're going to apply, but at the end of the 2-week term, when the time came, only 2 of them applied.
Okay. The other thing that gets me is that you haven't even discussed fees, and, because usually if they submit some kind of.
I did discuss fees, but I'll refresh you. So we don't have any fees yet, but the whole initial conversations is to make this as net zero or positive for the city as much as possible. What they do is take a look at our last 2 to 3 years of new builds, whatever has went through the state up to that point. They figure out what our rates should be so it offsets what they charge and hopefully does not cost the city anything to provide this service.
You'll still be, the city will still be paying them though.
We will, but we will be accepting all the fees based on the fee schedule that is
You mean
created.
the
through this.
developers will be paying you?
Correct.
Ah, I get it. Okay.
It'll be, yes, exactly like that.
Well, what I was worried about is that she's gonna enter into a contract with somebody that hadn't even told us what they were gonna charge us yet, and it was gonna
No,
be.
not at all. I wasn't even going to bring this to council until I had those numbers, but I just happened to have a conversation with Mr. Neff, and that's why we're talking about it tonight before we move further. Okay. That's it.
Anything else from the committee?
Couple questions.
Mr. Schauber.
How many permits last year? Or
I don't
were
know,
pulled?
I don't know that information yet. As soon as I got off the call with Safeville, I checked with Matt. I went to Matt and I said, okay, which committee does this go on? And then that's when he recommended I get a hold of Mr. Neff. So I got a hold of Mr. Neff. In the meantime, I have a little homework to do as far as to get that information of those 2 to 3 years from the state and supply that to Safeville.
It's really easy information to find.
Yeah, it's
honestly.
it's
There's a
online. You
permit
told me
portal,
about that.
yeah.
that
There's
website.
a permit portal.
So,
I would guess 75 to 100 over the last year, calendar year.
and then that fee structure is based on the permits pulled, so let's say 100 permits, and then that tells, what was it, Safe Build, what fees they need to charge the city to provide this service. So that will be put.
Provide this service at a net zero or a
Yeah.
Okay,
positive.
yes, but, so, they're in the business for profit, and so they're gonna have their fee for whatever employee, if it's 1 day, or 4 days, or 5 days a week, sitting at the desk that we have set up for them. That fee will be on top of what a developer could just go to the state and pay, correct? So if it's a $100 permit fee for a job, and then Safe Build tax on their fee because they got a guy sitting in the desk in Marion, Ohio, in theory, it could be a $200 permit fee when they could just go to the state for $100. But you
No.
got something
I'm
dying to say.
I'm going to say, no, that's not really true. It's not going to be a double set of fees. Once you go with another provider, the state doesn't get any of that fee. What they do charge, and, the state's really good at this, I think it's a 3%. So whatever the permit is, you got to give them 3% on top of that.
Okay.
So it's not going to be like a double permit fee. And like I said, this happens a lot. There's a lot of jurisdictions, I think all of Wyandotte County uses a third party. So it's not going to be double fees.
Okay.
But on the, if you don't mind, on the
And
same topic with this question,
Yeah.
it may not be double feed, but what's to keep them from wanting to charge more to make money than what the state would charge?
That's true. That's typically, that's kind of been the modus operandi that I've heard that could potentially happen, yes, is we're going to get this contract, and, Mr. Bodine is saying it's not going to be a long term, so that's probably good. So if we sign a 5-year contract, I think you see those fees go like this.
Go up.
I don't think it would be any different, though, than us if we started our own,
Right.
started doing it in-house. We would have to add on to whatever the state is paying to cover the cost of an employee and benefits. So,
Yeah, the state fee's just going to be 3% on whoever
Whatever.
is
So if
providing
the state,
that.
if the developer went straight to the state and it's $100 for whatever they want done, the state's only going to take 3% of that $100 if it's a Safe Built or whoever that's doing it, correct?
That's correct. Like if I work for the city of Delaware, which I do now, and we issue a permit, and the permit is $10,000, the state's going to say, give me my 3% on top of that, because, the city of Delaware is doing basically the same thing that you're talking about, where the state's not doing the inspection, it's the local jurisdiction.
Okay. Is there any objection, or would it be a benefit to make this countywide? Because the
Honestly,
more permits
right.
being pulled, wouldn't that make a better deal for everyone involved?
Right, but I think what Mr. Bodine is trying to get to, Director Bodine is trying to get to a net zero cost, and I think this would almost be a guinea pig for the rest of the county. So if the city is successful in this and has a good experience, then it would be easy to sell this to commissioners and say, I think it makes more sense, because now you've got contractors, in the city limits, or whose jurisdiction is that? That happens all the time, where they don't even know who in the world they're submitting permits to. Is it the city? Is it the state? Is it the county? I think that in time, it would make a lot of sense for the city and the county to combine that.
I do too.
Right.
And maybe,
I don't see how we ever get to that right now, but first off. But.
Yeah. Sometimes
We're just starting positive motion. Is what
Yeah.
I heard from our citizens,
Yeah.
our developers. We're trying to look into it and try to find the best solution.
Some of the information you're looking for, the homework you need to do yet, I started back in December of '24, January 25, with the Chamber, Downtown Inc., and for whatever reason, that went silent. I don't know why that communication stopped, but
What are you referring to?
what you're investigating now with the commercial building department, I did the same thing back the first of the year. And Chamber sent out a survey, Downtown Inc. sent out a survey, so there's information that you should probably get.
Gotcha.
But just in my mind, Director Bodine, I appreciate this conversation and this meeting tonight, but I really think there's other, I'm not saying safe built yes or no, state yes or no, but I think you should investigate all the options that are out there. And one way I think you could do that is by posting on the ABOA website. It's super easy to do. I actually went in there today, and you don't even have to be a member to go to that website, and you can go in as yourself and fill out all that information you want, and that listing will go live and it'll be there for 3
Are you
weeks.
proposing for us to use that as an additional method that we already do
I am,
for
yes.
for all future items that we post RFQs for?
No, this is specific to the commercial building department you're talking about. This Ohio building officials, that's all they do. It wouldn't be helpful to any other discussion or any other RFQ. But this particular one, it would be helpful. It would get that information in front of every building official in the state of Ohio.
Mr. Chairman, would this committee or the administration want something official from council requesting you reject all the RFQs you have, resubmit it through this website and other venues?
Well, it kind of puts me in an odd place because I was at a point where, okay, we selected you, now we're going to go through the process of getting the rates and then taking them to council, see what they say. And now if I introduce basically another RFQ, it would be nice to provide them with something just to let them know what's happening, because this is my first time experiencing this myself. But if it wasn't going to pass anyways, I guess it doesn't matter. So,
So are you saying that you,
I'm saying it would be nice to have something like, hey, we took this to committee, they suggested.
well, that's what I'm saying, do you need
RFQ.
something official from us saying that we're
That would be
officially
nice.
rejecting it?
That would be nice.
And that way you could
Yeah.
give them something and.
I don't know if I would phrase it that way. I think that they're rejecting the initial full RFQ first process to include putting it on this website that specializes in these sort of things.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
Simply
specifically
because
say
we
we're
only had-
rejecting the company that we chose, because I would encourage them to apply again.
I think in a large degree because simply you only had one completed successful application, and it'd be nice to get some more, so.
Law director, would a resolution, or do we even have to go that far?
I agree with the suggestion that we have, if council desires, that it pass an ordinance rejecting the first RFQ. I think Mr. Bodine and I can work together to bring to committee in 2 weeks a proposed draft of that ordinance. But to bring closure to the initial RFQ process, it would be important that council say, because of the very few respondents to the advertisement, we're going to reject RFQ 1, refine our advertising process, and go through an RFQ 2. We may end up with the same one, but at least try to hit more eyes looking at computer screens.
If I may, Chairman, what
Councilor
is
Schauber.
the procedure for any RFQ? Is it,
It's in the statutes.
so,
You have to read them to, I can't recite what I've read before in the state statute as far as the procedures, but it's in the state.
procedures through, so Mr. Bodine or the service director, safety director, whoever, can just send out RFQs whenever?
No,
There's
that's what I'm trying to explain. So the spec and bid process, it's very specific. You
Right.
can look at the code, you can see this is what you have to do, 2 publications, no closer than
Right.
7 days. And so there's the same thing for RFQ, they're just harder to find because they're in Title I or the section that has to do with engineering in the state of Ohio. And so they're just in a different section, but it tells you to complete the RFQ process, you have to do a publication, it has to be published this many times, this far apart. It's the same typical thing, and then you have to have a scoring. So unlike a spec and bid, there's a scoring element to it where you have to have a score that you give points for responses.
So are they different than spec and bids in the relationship that spec and bids usually come to council seeking permission to go out with the spec and bid prior to sending them out? Example, recycling.
Well, that's one distinguishing factor between
So
the very
there's-
structured spec and bid process and these processes that have come along later in time that says for engineering work, you can do a request for qualifications.
Okay.
And that's how we have, for decades, selected our design engineers that are doing our contracted work, is the engineers has put the publication out there, gotten the list of, and then qualified by a scoring system, those engineering firms to do contracted design work are in the file ready to go, and that's what the engineering department pulls from. So it's a similar process to that.
So a request for qualification sent out, we received one. That's not compelling council to enter into contract or even gives the authority for the administration to enter into contract at all.
Well, the distinction here is the proposal is to create a City of Marion certified commercial building department.
Right.
For the purposes of administering the state commercial building code.
Mhm.
And this is the process it takes to do that. So that's what the administration is engaged in.
Yeah, but Mr. Bodine wants to give this safe built a reason why we're not going through.
Oh, I'm glad it was brought up.
Going
I was a
through.
little slow getting up, but to end that process is what was suggested, is that council pass an ordinance essentially rejecting RFQ 1 because of the few responses received, and it essentially saying to the administration, do an RFQ 2, and we'd suggest that you put it on the professional website, any other places, to try to draw in competing complete applications being received. So it's,
The next step after that.
so it would come back to council. So in theory, if council passes an ordinance rejecting RFQ 1, the administration moves forward, putting out RFQ 2, it's as many computer monitors as possible, and then when the responses are received and they do the same grading, then the administration, Mr. Bodine, would be bringing to you an ordinance to essentially
Enter
create
contract.
the City of Marion Certified Commercial Building Department.
It's the same process I was following this time.
Yeah.
It just, I had those conversations out of courtesy to council and committee to just get some input before we went that far.
So would you like a motion,
Well, I think.
or you want to wait 2 more weeks?
I think it's best that we
Okay.
compose it. You know, we're all thinking off the top of our heads, and there's no urgency. I think it's somewhat clear from the discussion, council desires to see that draft at the next codes committee,
Okay.
and then move it through.
Not to beat a dead horse, but Director Powell, not to put you on the spot, but we just went through the RFQ to get the design of the firehouse.
Get an architect.
Yeah, the design portion of that
Yes.
project. And you had how many respondents to that RFQ?
We had 5.
5 qualified, okay, and then from there,
Well, then we got 5, basically, for lack of a better term, applications returned, RFQs returned.
Yes.
And we scored them.
Okay.
Mr. Smith was on that selection committee, or on the
Okay.
scoring committee.
well, thank you, that was pretty painless question, wasn't it?
And here's my question,
Yes,
like, I
Mr.
was not
Bowman.
aware that, I guess, Mr. Smith was on that committee. I mean, as far as the selection process goes, I know Mr. Arndt said that a third party outside of the city, is that something that this committee would wish to be a part of?
What committee? Sorry, I got lost on committees. What committees are?
Selection committee, is that
Selection
basically what you're
committee,
saying?
like-
A selection
Go ahead.
committee to choose after he gets the RFQs back for this commercial building.
Because the bottom line is, it goes from us
not
internally choosing who is qualified the most according to the opinions of our engineers, and then I can usually take their advice and run with it. I mean, that's been standard operating procedure since I've been here. But I'm not quite sure of the dynamics. Mr. Powell can probably explain more.
The way it was explained to me by the legal firm that we hired to help me through the process of building the fire station is that my selection committee has to be people that are employed by the city to answer maybe a question. I could have advisors on this selection committee to answer questions, but it had to be, that's why I chose Mr. Smith, myself, assistant engineer, the fire chief. That was on our scoring, that was on that selection committee or that scoring committee. It couldn't be somebody from outside, it had to be somebody who had a vested interest within the city.
Very good. I don't have any interest in being on the committee.
I don't think we should
Neither do I.
muddle up more
Yeah.
committees.
I do appreciate, Mr. Bonine, you bringing this before our committee and having this discussion. I think it was fruitful. And Safe Build or any company could be a positive experience and a positive way forward for the community. But I appreciate the slow implement of it and
Yeah, absolutely.
walking through
I
the steps.
appreciate this committee, and I hope the committee and council sees that the administration is really trying to put the best foot forward, is trying to keep you guys involved before decisions are made.
Well, thank you very much, Director Bodine. Anything else on this matter? No. Matters not on the agenda?
I have one short thing.
Mr. Schauber.
So, tall weeds and grass. What is the ratio of tall weeds and grass to wildflowers before we have to cut the grass?
If you're talking about code enforcement, it's easier if you have a specific property to share it with the
Yeah, the
safety director.
schools at the,
Share the property with the safety director, and then I'll give support to the safety director who's responsible for the code enforcement division, have to do with tall weeds and grass.
so it's not getting cut.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
No, that's fine. Thank you. I'll talk, I already sent pictures to Cal,
Okay.
so, yeah.
So,
Right.
Counselor Schauber, are you referring to the pollinator garden that was
Yes.
discussed? Okay. Just a
Yes.
question.
We was told it would be wildflowers. It is not.
So we always try to be proactive. Mr. Cal just said he doesn't remember. Could you resend what you've already sent?
What property was?
To Director Cal and myself, and we'll pick it up and
I'm not sure I got it, Jason.
That's fine. I'll resend that.
Okay.
Mhm. I don't have my phone with me right now, but I'll send it.
Any other matters not on the agenda?
Yeah, I just have one. Mr. Shetler, have you had a chance to speak with Aqua about Miss Yoder's trees?
Mr. Cowell and I have been in discussion about that. I'll let him answer it.
The next morning after our meeting last week, I reached back out to Aqua and got a hold of their district manager, Scott Ballinger. He went out and addressed it. He came to Marion, looked at it himself, got his construction manager out there. I believe they met with the property owner that next day. My understanding, they couldn't come to a resolution. So I hired a certified arborist to go out and look. I met him out there then the following day. And then he looked at it, and I forwarded him the pictures that were sent to me so he could look at all the pictures that were sent to me to see if there were tap roots cut and so forth. And I just got those to him today, and I'm waiting on a report back from the certified arborist.
Okay. Thank you for the update.
Mhm.
Probably just continue to ask until something happens with it, I guess.
Follow up on the certified arborist opinion. So if he says, yes, they are in fact dying or dead and dangerous, what next? Or if he comes back and says there's nothing wrong with them.
I think it's very difficult to answer hypotheticals. My advice would be not to try to answer a hypothetical. We've engaged a certified arborist. Let's receive his report and address it when it's received.
discussion? Any other matters not on the agenda? Come on.
Tina for I-272 Merchant Avenue. This kind of circles back to the auditor's office. Are we trying to get anyone in there to help Miranda? Are we not able to attract people? She said she was doing a job of 3 people. Are we looking at hiring her help or?
So I have one new employee who's starting on the 13th. I have a second position that's currently vacant. I'm interviewing for that position now.
Okay. Just so long as you're not being stuck 3 people short or however many short you are, 2 or 3?
2, yeah.
Okay, and I have another question. Probably you're the only one that can answer this as well. Are you guys using a trial balance ledger now?
We have a trial balance option. I don't believe it's been used in the past, but that could be due to the way the processes that we've used have been done before. That's something that we've been looking into since we've changed some of the processes, but I haven't taken advantage of it yet.
Okay, there's some question that maybe that might be part of the problem with like the internal audits that you guys are doing here and having so much trouble making the numbers match up. Are you guys still like using the New World software? Has anybody rebooted it and reinstalled it properly?
We get updates periodically, and those updates are pushed through by our IT department.
Okay, now, that's another thing. I think probably the IT guy's probably the only person that should have full access to like safety controls inside the auditing software. And I wonder if it wouldn't just be better off for the city to buy new auditing software. There are complaints all over the country about New World, just from, different auditors, all kinds of different problems with safety protocols. And would it serve the city better just to invest in a new program? I know they're expensive, but we're in dire straits in our auditor's office. It's a mess. And I don't think anybody's ever going to be able to figure out what's going on in there until you guys do an internal IT audit. I don't think you'll ever be able to figure it out. I think that's what it's going to need. I don't mean like the performance audit. I mean, who's been logging into servers and who's been doing what, who's had administrative access, and if it was anybody other than IT, why? Other than the basic controls you've got to let people have to do their job. Why? There's a lot of questions I have that won't never get answered until somebody does an IT audit. So I hope the city will seriously look into that. For you and for everybody else that's gotten drunk through the mud or what I suspect is a really terrible software install from the get-go. You weren't even here then, so it wouldn't have been you. It would have been clear under, I think, Kathy Carr.
Yeah, Kelly Carr was the one that, Kelly Carr was the one that initiated the system, yes.
Yeah, I think it probably was installed properly from day one. So just file that away for you because you might need that.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, sorry.
Counselor Schauber.
Sit here and I get to thinking. So, since we can't answer what ifs, can we answer why did we hire a certified arborist?
Director Cal didn't ask me as the city legal advisor whether he should or he shouldn't, but actually it's a productive step.
Okay.
Because the responsibility in regards to the trees and the front lawn typically are private property responsibilities of a property owner. The distinguishing fact in this scenario is the utility, private utility, had dug up the sidewalk, installed new water lines, and so now there's a private utility that has injured a tree, allegedly, and we're assisting the homeowner. The homeowner in this case didn't have to hire the certified arborist. The city's taken on that burden to assist Ms. Yoder and get to the bottom of can a certified arborist, in his or her professional opinion, say that the work by the private utility caused the harm to the trees.
Okay.
So it's heading us towards a solution.
Thank you.
So we think Aqua may be more receptive if a certified
No, I don't care
arborist-
what Aqua thinks.
Or,
Please, don't quote me onto that. So they're just another entity involved. We have a property owner and we have a private utility. And the private utility installed new water lines. under the sidewalk, very near the roots of the pine trees. And many looking at it would say, put two and two together and say, well, it's clear that the private utility caused the trees to die. But when you have a private utility that we've learned wasn't responsive or willing to step forward and address it right away, as Ms. Yoder had asked, the city administration, Director Cow, have taken the next step to get an opinion of a certified arborist, because that's the kind of legal support a person would need, whether you're Aqua property owner or if the city assisting a property owner or a constituent with a professional opinion as to why those trees are dead and whose responsibility it is to remove them.
Any other matters not on the agenda? Come on.
Sorry.
My goodness.
Actually, happened about 3 years ago. But it wasn't with Aqua, it was with Columbia Gas. Now, the house across the street from me is abandoned now. Nobody lives there. It's filled with trash and all that. But before, the person that owned the property had a gas leak, and they decided that they wanted Columbia to correct. So they came over. The only problem was the line wasn't on their side, it was on the easement adjacent to my property. Well, I originally, I said, can you handle it from your easement? Because I have no control over that easement other than to cut the grass up to the post. And they said, yes, we can do that. Obviously, they lied because they just found out that they couldn't do it. And so they hired a subcontractor. And the subcontractor tore up my yard in order for them to do that. And they sat there and basically said, well, we'll get to it in 2 weeks. I don't know what you're all up about. And so I called the Public Utilities Commission, but the Public Utilities Commission is controlled by the utilities now. Didn't used to be, but they are. So I had to sit there and talk to Columbia Gas Direct. And so they did send the general manager of the project to the property, and they did eventually fix the problem. But I'm going to tell you this. If Columbia Gas comes back to that line, I'm going to be standing there, and I'm not going to let them on my property. I don't have to let them, and nobody else does either. I mean, they are not permitted. They are permitted to use the easement, and that's it. If they try to come over on my property, then I'm just going to have to get the police involved, or an attorney, I guess. That's my private property, not theirs. And they sat there and did what they did. They don't have the right to do it again. And that's for anybody in Marion that has private property.
Cassie Yoder, 754 East Church Street. You guys do not want to quit seeing my face. And I don't like coming up here every Monday. I really don't. I did not see no one at all come to my house, and I've got cameras out there. Nobody knocked at my door. They tell me, they was out front to look at my trees or going to look at my trees. And Aqua Water has been very bad about saying that I am very mean to them. I am not very mean to Aqua Water. I've not been mean to no one on that construction site whatsoever. Just I asked them if it would kill the trees. If it would kill the trees, then taking up the sidewalk and digging at least 6 foot down. I've got the pictures, you've seen the pictures. If it would, just take the trees down. I don't care about the trees. I didn't plant the trees. But do I want to take the trees down myself? No. The trees wasn't dead. They wasn't bothering me, and they wasn't bothering my neighbors. But now they're bothering me. And they are bothering my neighbors if they fall into it. And that's what I'm really worried about. So no, you guys are not going to quit seeing my face until something's done with the trees. And yes, Aqua Water should be held responsible for these trees. I didn't kill them. I mean, I've lived there almost 25 years, and I haven't killed the 2 trees. They've been there the whole time. So it's awful funny that when Aqua Water come down and dug the holes He dug up roots size of baseballs. Right after that, the big tree started to die, and then the other tree started leaning. The one tree that started to die, I don't know if it's because the roots, they keep telling me from aqua water something about the ball underneath the tree was not damaged and was not disturbed. I don't know anything about a ball underneath the tree. I don't know anything about trees. Don't care to know anything about it. I got other stuff I want to, decide on and whatever. But they say that was not touched, so they're not responsible for that tree dying, except for me to water the tree more. Why should I spend money on watering that tree? My water bills already went up, and so hasn't my neighbors. Now, I will call Channel 6 on my side, I'll call Channel 4, or whoever I gotta call, to come in about these trees. I don't want no one to get hurt. And I'm sure everybody in this room feels the same way I do. Do not want nobody to get hurt. Now, if a storm comes through and it brings down the trees, what's aqua water going to say then? Oh, it was the storm's fault. Then it's my insurance to take care of it. Well, I said up here last week, I said, I've got insurance, I'll pay for it, and I don't care. Well, is my insurance going to come back and say, oh no, this was not, due to the storm, it's due to aqua water. So no, we're not going to pay for any damages. And if anybody's got insurance on their house, ever had to use it, they can come back and say that. Yeah, I'm just a common person out here. I don't work up here nowhere, and I used to work at Kroger's. But I pay my bills, and I want something done about aqua water. Because so far I've talked to supposedly a manager over top of the crew and the manager of aqua water, supposedly. I don't know who it was I talked to. And they both was very rude to me. And I don't particularly like people being rude to me like that. And I don't think they have a right to be rude to me. They should come face to face with me and say, hey, what do you see here? And I'll show them. I've got the pictures. From day one they started. To, just last week I took pictures. And every week I'm taking more pictures. And they said they had a picture that come in Tuesday. Of last week. And she said that the only part of the tree she seen dead whatsoever was very top of the tree. I said it's because he didn't come over across the street and look underneath the tree. That's where you can tell the tree's dead. Yeah, like I said, I'm no tree expert, but anybody can see that. I mean, you've seen the tree. You know what the tree looks like. In your opinion, do you think the tree's dead?
That's why I hired a professional.
Okay. I'm glad you did, because that was my next step too. And which I might still do that, I don't know yet. Because aqua water is going to be held responsible. Where I do have to call Channel 6 in, where I have to hire a lawyer or whatever, I'm going to do one or the other. Because I'm getting tired of coming up here every Monday. And I know you guys are getting tired of hearing all this. But it is what it is. So, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Yoder. And I will, like I said, I have your name and your number and stuff, and I enjoy you coming up every Monday. Feel free to keep coming, but if you'd like me to continue to just stay in contact with you or keep you updated, I will as much as I can. So.
Any other matters not on the agenda?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Councilor Shelburne. I'm going to second that. With no matters on the agenda, no other matters, we're adjourned 8:19. Jeez, I thought you were going to bring up something else. Serious?